Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Gossip Star Vibe. Forget about love and loyalty. This wedding quickly turned into a full-blown food fight with the sound of police sirens in the distance. Just when we thought Remy Ma had hit her lowest point, she grabbed the wedding cake and hurled it like a shot put right at the altar. Yes, you read that correctly. A $5,000 custom fondant cake. Airborne. Splat. Everywhere. Right in front of 200 guests and a live stream still recording. So what made Remy Ma snap? Was it the vows? The kiss? Or was it simply the sight of Claressa Shields in a white dress marrying her man, Papoose, while she stood in the background like an unwanted ghost? One moment she was sitting quietly in the back row. The next, she was screaming, "That should have been me," and hurling a tier of red velvet like it was an Olympic event. Security was too slow. The guests were frozen. And before anyone could stop her, Remy was already in handcuffs, frosting on her nails, heels off, and yelling about betrayal. So what really went down in those explosive 45 seconds? Stick around, the footage is insane, and the aftermath is even worse. Let's set the scene. And no, this isn't an episode of Scandal or a leaked Love and Hip Hop reunion. This is real, well, fake real drama, messier than a three-tiered cake meeting gravity. The venue, pure class. Think chandeliers, crystal flutes, live harpists flown in from France, and a guest list packed with hip-hop royalty and A-list athletes. Claressa Shields and Papoose spared no expense for this wedding. No budget cuts, no sneak peeks. This was $1 million spectacle wrapped in white silk. And just as the couple was about to say, "I do," the camera pans to the back. And who's there? You guessed it. Remy Ma standing in the last row. Not blinking, not breathing, just staring. No one knows how she got in. Some say she bribed a caterer. Others say she posed as a +1 for a distant cousin. One security guard swears he saw her sneak in during the rehearsal pretending to be part of the flower team. But however she managed to get in, she made sure everyone noticed. According to a waiter who barely made it out with his tray intact, Remy was dressed in a fitted black jumpsuit, hair pinned high, and heels so sharp they could have been weapons. She wasn't there to make peace. She was there to steal the spotlight. And it didn't take long. Witnesses say she waited until Claressa and Papoose were halfway through their vows before making her move. And let's be real, she didn't just interrupt, she exploded. "This is a joke, right?" she screamed, her voice echoing across the marble floors. Gasps, loud gasps. One guest clutched their pearls, literally. Claressa tried to stay calm. She turned slightly, blinked once, and allegedly said, "You don't want to do this." But Remy had already set her sights on the cake. A 6-foot, 3-tiered, hand-painted red velvet and vanilla swirl, edible gold-flaked, fondant-covered monstrosity. It cost more than some New York City down payments. In one swift move, Remy rushed the cake table. "No one marries my man and gets away with it," she shouted, before grabbing the top tier with both hands and tossing it like she was reenacting The Purge, Wedding Edition. People ducked, someone screamed, a bridesmaid fainted, an entire camera crew froze as the cake flew. A slow-motion arc of frosting and revenge, and landed splat across the altar, knocking over 2 candles, a champagne bottle, and part of Claressa's bouquet. Papoose's jaw dropped. He didn't even move, just stood there, looking like someone had unplugged him from reality. Claressa, on the other hand, didn't even flinch. She reached for a napkin, calmly wiped frosting off her shoulder, and then shot Remy a look that witnesses said could cut through concrete. Meanwhile, Remy was just getting started. She began shouting, not just random insults, but deeply personal ones. "You think he forgot? You think all that loyalty he talked about was for you? I stood by him when he had nothing. Nothing. And now he gives you the dream I waited for?" And that's when everything truly spiraled out of control. Allegedly, Remy tried to snatch the microphone from the DJ booth, but stumbled over her heel in the chaos. She collided with the dessert table, shattering 3 crystal platters and spreading chocolate mousse across the floor like war paint. Security finally sprang into action. 2 guards approached from one side, another from the other. But despite the fall, Remy was still yelling, "She's not the one for him. He's mine. He's always been mine. This is all a setup." Guests began to stream the scene live. Phones were out in full force. Within 5 minutes, the hashtag number Remy ruins the reception was trending. And just when things seemed like they couldn't possibly get worse, she tried to climb onto the altar. One bridesmaid reportedly tackled her mid-climb. Another poured water on her heels to keep her from rising. By the time the police arrived, Remy was surrounded by floral arrangements, broken glass, one fake eyelash dangling, and a face smeared with frosting. Officers asked her to stand up. She refused. "I'm not moving until he looks me in the eyes and says he doesn't love me." Silence. Then Papoose, still at the altar, frosting on his suit and looking dazed, softly said, "Remy, go home." And just like that, it was over. The officers moved in. Remy was escorted out, barefoot, still yelling, "He's lying! This whole thing is fake!" Outside, the paparazzi were already there. Photos of Remy in cuffs, barefoot, makeup ruined, rage all over her face, hit the internet before she even got to the squad car. But here's the kicker. As soon as she was out of sight, Claressa turned to the crowd and said, "Let's reset, from the top." And they restarted the ceremony. Same vows, same kiss, just with a little extra frosting in the air. That's where most thought the saga ended. But what the internet uncovered after the incident, that's when everything really went viral. Because apparently, that cake throw wasn't just an emotional outburst. It was premeditated. It turns out that cake toss wasn't just about rage. It was a master plan. A chaotic, frosting-fueled ambush. Because what leaked after the wedding completely rocked the internet. Within 24 hours, anonymous sources began dropping receipts. The first one was a blurry screenshot of a group chat reportedly titled "The Plan." In it, a message from someone saved as R said, "Y'all got the timing right? I'm going in at 4:17. Get the second angle from behind the flowers." Let that sink in. This wasn't just a spur-of-the-moment explosion. This was a calculated attack. And if that wasn't shocking enough, another message allegedly read, "When I throw the cake, make sure you get his reaction on tape." Yes, she wanted the cake and the look on his face in 4K. The internet went wild. TikTok detectives immediately started analyzing every angle. Footage was slowed down, timestamps were synced, and dramatic music was added as if it were the Zapruder film of hip-hop weddings. But wait, it gets even messier. Another account shared what seemed like a calendar event on Remy's phone labeled "Wedding Interruption." The time? 4:15 p.m. The description? "He needs to see me." Was this real? Was it doctored? No one knows for sure. But it felt real. And that was all the internet needed. Twitter threads turned into full-blown investigations. Reddit exploded. One thread with 13K upvotes was titled, "How Remy Ma Orchestrated the Most Embarrassing Scene of 2025. Then came the leaked voicemail. Yes, a voicemail. Allegedly sent from Remy to a mutual friend 2 days before the wedding. In it, a woman's voice, eerily familiar, said, "I don't care if it's messy. I don't care if it's tacky. If I gotta remind him in front of everyone, I will." Cue the emotional piano music. Cue the memes. Cue the think pieces. At this point, the incident wasn't just celebrity gossip. It became a cultural moment. The public reaction? Chaotic, divided, loud. Team Remy claimed she was a woman scorned. They argued she was acting out of heartbreak. She had supported Papoose through everything. And seeing him start over without her? Unforgivable. One fan tweeted, "She held him down through prison, through poverty, through everything. And this is what she gets?" Tossing that cake was the nice version. But Team Claressa wasn't having it. They said Remy had crossed every line. That the woman who once championed female empowerment was now just another wedding crasher with a victim mentality. An Instagram Live from Claressa's sister that night fueled the fire. In it, she said, "We tried to be considerate. We kept her off the guest list without being rude. But she wasn't meant to be there. She showed up like a storm cloud with a wig." And then, Cardi B made her entrance. In a tweet that quickly went viral, Cardi posted, "I'm just mad I wasn't invited to see this. Like, y'all had cake flying and exes shouting, and I was at home with a face mask on?" The tweet gained 1.2 million likes in under 12 hours. 50 Cent, not wanting to be outdone, shared a photoshopped image of Remy mid-cake throw, with the caption, "She brought the dessert and the drama." At the same time, social media detectives noticed Remy had quietly unfollowed everyone on Instagram, except Papoose. And just when you thought the burner accounts were quiet, think again. Soon after the incident, a mysterious Twitter account called it Cakegate Queen started posting cryptic messages. "He still calls me when she's asleep. You can wear white, but you'll never erase the truth. I didn't lose control. I took it back. Most assumed it was Remy. The bio? Built different, still uninvited. Blogs were updating constantly with headlines like Remy Ma's downward spiral, Claressa's classy comeback, and Papoose stuck in emotional crossfire. And just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, Uber Eats dropped Remy as a partner. Yes, you read that correctly. Remy had a deal for a Remy meal deal, a combo of wings, mac and cheese, and a pineapple drink. But the company severed the partnership, citing public relations challenges. Another brand, a lash company called Slay Silk, also cut ties. Their statement read, "We believe in beauty, not bitterness. Effective immediately, we are distancing ourselves from this unfortunate situation." Then came the fake pregnancy rumors. A blog claimed Remy had hinted weeks earlier that she was working on something permanent with Papoose, which led fans to speculate she might be pregnant. Various fan pages began posting potential timelines, with one saying she probably thought the wedding would be canceled and they'd reconcile with a big surprise. Others dug deeper, posting alleged footage of Remy leaving an OB/GYN office in Manhattan. But it was later revealed to be a nail salon next door. Didn't matter. The rumor spread like wildfire. Meanwhile, Claressa remained mostly quiet until her wedding photographer shared a raw post-chaos photo dump. One picture showed Claressa smiling, surrounded by frosting and flower petals, holding a champagne glass like a true champ. Caption: "The wedding wasn't perfect, but it was real, and we still said, 'I do.'" That photo received more praise than most engagement announcements. Fans flooded the comments calling her the real champ, queen of calm, and the only woman to win a fight without throwing hands. But the final blow to Remy wasn't a meme, tweet, or even the Uber Eats deal. It was the legal paperwork that came next. Because Claressa wasn't about to let this slide, she wanted justice. By Monday morning, Claressa Shields wasn't smiling for photos anymore. She was in a courtroom. Yes, less than 48 hours after Remy Ma turned her wedding into a viral frosting fiasco, Claressa filed an emergency legal complaint. Not just a restraining order, not just a cease and desist. She filed a full civil lawsuit. The accusation: deliberate disruption of a ceremonial event with malicious intent, causing emotional distress, property destruction, and public defamation. In simpler terms, you threw cake, smashed plates, ruined vows, and humiliated me in front of Rihanna's second cousin and a live streaming camera crew. The court papers, which were swiftly leaked by someone with no regard for confidentiality, detailed the damages, including notable costs: custom cake, $5,300, floral restoration after the cake incident, $1,800, security overtime, $2,100, embarrassment from a live stream with 3.2 million viewers. Priceless, but we'll let the judge decide. And the most shocking part? Claressa also requested compensation for emotional distress, claiming Remy's actions caused her to suffer PTSD symptoms, including frosting flashbacks, aisle anxiety, and an aversion to red velvet. It would have been laughable if it weren't so real. Remy Ma remained silent publicly. No social media posts, no interviews, nothing. But her team? They released a statement that only made things worse. The official statement read, "Ms. Reminisce Mackey experienced a temporary emotional breakdown due to unresolved trauma and was triggered by years of betrayal and misrepresentation. She did not intend to cause harm, but felt the need to be seen and heard." You needed to be seen? Mission accomplished. The internet roasted the statement worse than the police did Remy. Someone reposted it with the caption, "This isn't an apology. It's an off-Broadway audition monologue." Meanwhile, Claressa Shields was far from finished. After filing the lawsuit, she uploaded a brief clip to Instagram. No music, no filter. Just her holding the damaged wedding bouquet, staring straight into the camera. Her only words? "You threw cake. I'm throwing consequences." The video garnered 1.4 million views in just 2 hours. And while Claressa prepped her court case, Papoose seemed to be preparing a whole new life. Rumors circulated that he and Claressa were planning a second private ceremony, away from cameras, bodyguards, and cake-throwing chaos. A close friend of Claressa posted, "We'll do it again, without drama, without ghosts from the past." While fans were split on whether Remy deserved sympathy or punishment, the industry wasn't waiting. Multiple insiders confirmed that a major fashion campaign Remy had lined up was canceled. A brand representative reportedly said, "We represent elegance. This wasn't it." Her upcoming podcast appearance? Canceled. A Netflix docu-series feature on female empowerment? Removed. She had inadvertently rebranded herself, not as a hip-hop legend, but as a wedding destroyer. Even longtime supporters began questioning her path. One viral TikTok breakdown put it this way: Remy was loyalty goals. Remy was bars. Remy was strength. But this was not the vibe. This was a tantrum in heels. But the hardest hit of all? Rumors circulated that Remy might face actual jail time. Because let's not forget, she's still under post-release supervision. Several legal experts, including one who frequently appears on morning TV, said, crossing state lines to partake in a violent public disturbance violates parole conditions, period, that could land her back inside. And here's the wildest turn of events. A leaked email, allegedly from Remy's assistant to an unknown PR firm, surfaced online. It read, "We need a comeback plan. Something impactful. Something that makes her the one people pity again. Maybe a documentary or an exclusive with Gayle King?" People were shocked. A comeback? Already? Fans weren't ready. One quote tweet said, "She needs a break, not a Netflix deal." And while the chaos continued, Claressa's team quietly dropped the biggest bombshell of all, a new documentary. Working title, The Vow and the Vendetta. Slated to drop in 6 parts, the series promises unseen footage from the wedding, exclusive commentary from guests, stylists, and, reportedly, Papoose himself. Yes, the man at the heart of the drama is finally ready to speak. A teaser trailer shared on Claressa's page featured one clip, a slow-motion shot of Remy mid-throw, cake in hand, fury on her face, cut to black. Then the words, "Some bring gifts, others bring chaos." It concludes with Claressa's voice. She wanted attention. Now she's got all of it. Mic drop. And just when you think it's finished, social media added one more jab. Someone started a fake cake company named Remy's Revenge. Parody marketing. The logo? A 3-tiered cake in mid-air. Their first flavor? Bittersweet betrayal. Their slogan? Perfect for when your ex marries a champion. The comment section erupted in laughter. But beneath the memes, GIFs, TikToks, and think pieces, one thing is painfully clear. This wasn't about a wedding. It was about pride, about history, about a woman who helped a man rise, lost him, and couldn't bear seeing someone else win. And in trying to reclaim her power, she lost control, and possibly everything else. Her reputation, her deals, her legal freedom. And now, she's become something she never intended. The embodiment of what happens when too much pain meets insufficient healing. So now the dust has settled, the cake has hardened, and the bride's bouquet is somewhere between fame and frosting. But the question remains, was Remy Ma simply a woman pushed too far? Or did she walk into that wedding ready to destroy the day just to feel noticed again? Because throwing a tantrum is one thing, but hurling a $5,000 cake in front of cameras, police, and your ex's new wife? That's not heartbreak. That's a declaration of war, covered in buttercream. Do you think she deserves sympathy or punishment? Was this her lowest point? Or just another chapter in a messy saga of loyalty, loss, and dramatic exits? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you Team Claressa or Team Remy? Make sure you like this video, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell, because this story isn't over. The trial's coming, the docu-series is coming, and you already know someone's gonna leak more receipts. This is just the beginning, and you already know where the real tea lives, right here on Gossip Star Vibe.